So we understand there's the metrics, the data, setting the goals for what you really want to achieve success, team versus metric. But what I want to know is the leaders in the organization. What's their role in creating success? Is it communicating well so that all the individual teams know where the company is headed and what's the 5-year plan and things like that so that we can all backtrack as a part of the engine that's driving that? How do you see the role of leaders in creating the success?
I think you need to practice what you preach. It starts with communication, being clear and transparent. I believe that in the absence of information, it's human nature. You're going to create your own narrative, and it's more oftentimes way worse than what the actual story is. So just being super clear with communication and then practicing what you preach. I think culture and success, I don't think it can be decreed. I don't think it can be an edict that says go forth and be successful. Culture and I believe company success happens in the small moments with consistency over time. So not trying to boil the ocean, but again, practicing what you preach in those small moments and being consistent across the board with who you're talking to and the meetings that you participate in. If you think about it as this overall massive challenge, how is it that we get business success and create good culture and engagement? You're just going to get overwhelmed and you're going to get caught up in focusing on things that aren't going to prove the action and the value that you want. Breaking it down, thinking about, okay, well, how's today going to work? And what am I going to accomplish this week? Breaking it down into bite sized chunks and just always having that North Star in mind. Again, probably an oversimplification, but I believe that simplifying things is where it's at.
Well, here's a typical challenge in accomplishing that. Not all leaders are great at communicating. So, what's your role as a talent professional if your leaders aren't communicating that, but that North Star is really that important? And here's the other aspect of it is that unfortunately, many times we can still be considered not a vital contributor to the overall success of the business, but a department, a support function of the success of the business, where we know that people drive business. So our talent acquisition strategies in creating high performance teams directly impact the overall growth of the business. So if you're not being perceived in that light and that importance, sometimes that means you're not also getting the feedback or the direction from leadership that you need. How do you break through that? How do you make sure you understand that North Star? You understand where the company's going. So, therefore, how we can help create the right high performance teams to accomplish.
That's a really good question. How do you break into that? I've had conversations with my management, my leadership, and I'm fortunate that they do understand how it does need to be whittled down. And when you understand what that North Star is, then you can understand how that team operates, and then you can break that down into your skills that hiring needs. But how do you break into that? To answer your question, being clear and consistent and communicative with your leadership, bringing elements of your function to them and bringing data and just asking them, being honest and connecting the dots for them to explain this is how I see our function being able to help and impact the overall business. Help me help you. And at the end of the day, just asking those simple questions. I think you said a little bit ago, you'd be hard pressed to find someone that isn't going to hear that and want to lean in and answer that question for you to make sense of it all.